7:28. We decided to get out in the nice weather. It had been a while since we did.
こんにちは。
Hi. I had invited her suddenly, so it was already close to noon. Once we decided to go, she hurried to make a lunch for us. Is your cold all better? What the fuck?
まあ、風邪じゃなかったけどね。
What, bro? Look, all I'm gonna say is, thank God that didn't happen during the emotional scenes. But what the fuck? It went from completely normal voice to demon. So how about you say?
まあ、風邪じゃなかったけどね。
There you go, much better. Yeah. I knew the truth, but I just brushed it off without giving her a hard time. We walked hand in hand to the station. Recently, things had been a little glum with us, so I wanted us to have a good time today.
今日は観覧車とかに乗ってみるのもいいかな。
Huh? I thought you were all about roller coasters.
うん。けど、前回そればっかりになっちゃったから。
Oh. I'm fine either way.
私、観覧車にも乗ってみたいな。ゆうくんと一緒に。
Well, when you put it that way. It was summer break, so it was a lot more crowded than last time. Even if we wanted to ride the roller coaster, we could have just had... we couldn't have. The lines are gonna be crazy.
ほんとだ。
What about the Ferris wheel line? Ferris wheel line, though.
ゆうくん、お腹空いてる？
Yeah, kind of.
じゃあ、先に食べちゃおう。夏だし、時間置くと傷んじゃうから。
Yeah.
いきなりお昼っていうのも、何しに来たかわからない感じだけど。
No, I think it's fine. The lunch could be the main event.
ふふ今日もゆうくんの好きなものをたくさん作ってきましたよ。
It made me so happy that she went to such lengths to please me. And this wasn't just because it was her duty as a woman. It had everything to do with her character. Yu-chan was just the type to do anything for her man. And that man was me. I was so happy, I wanted to just skip around in circles.
そんなに嬉しい？スキップしたりして。
Oh, yeah.
美味しくできてるといいんだけど。
I'm sure it'll be delicious. And since she was that way, I wanted to wholeheartedly take care of her. I think that was true as well. Take care of her, huh? The words that I had uttered without hesitation when I was young. I never once thought they would mean so much to me. At first, I was just thinking I'd help with chores and whatnot, although she was way more capable than me. Then I would officially propose to her. And now, I wanted to clear away that dark cloud that was hanging over her. What a convenient phrase. Of course, when I first said it, I wasn't merely trying to console her. Yu-chan's food was delicious as always. So good.
よかった。
The guy who gets to marry a girl like you, Yu-chan, is the luckiest man in the world.
あ、それ前にも同じこと聞いた。
I was about to say that. I was about to say you already said that to her. Really? Of course I remembered, but I played dumb.
みたいって曖昧さも前と同じだけど。
Well, because for me, the girl has already decided.
そうだね。
He changed it up a little, right? Instead of referring to him being the man that gets to eat her food, it's Wait, never mind. Wait, you're not gonna ask who's that like last time?
あ、やっぱり覚えてる。
No.
最初はやきもきしちゃったけど、今となってはルーチェたちが来てくれてよかったのかな。
Well, you aren't as glad 5 times out of 6. All right, just be lucky that you got the 1 out of 6 this time. 6 this time. Why?
ちぎり、そういう話があったからこそ指切りみたいなことも。
She held out her pinky as she continued.
改めて意味を持ってくれた、そんな気がするから。
I knew what she meant and grabbed her pinky with mine. Yu-chan giggled cutely. This was probably the one time we had done this after the first time. And that feeling I had bloomed once again inside me. That was a wonderful thing.
食べた後でもすぐに乗れるから、観覧車はいいね。
Yu-chan stared out the window as she thought out loud. Our cart slowly rose high into the sky. It was cramped, and even just riding it together with a girl would make the vibe more intimate.
でも面白くはないかな、乗ったりしてるだけで。
That's the whole point of the Ferris wheel.
けど彼氏と一緒ならそんなこともないね。
I nodded, and the words together echoed in my head. But yeah. What I could do for her was be by her side. But was that all it was? Yu-chan, I think I wanted to maintain this positive vibe all day. I had promised myself, but before I realized it, I was contradicting myself. You couldn't talk to your mum one last time. Do you regret it?
そうだね。
Yu-chan didn't seem surprised by the sudden change in topic. She just nodded, her gaze still fixed out the window.
何しろいきなりのことだったからね。その瞬間までは普通におしゃべりしていたんだよ。なのに気がついたら。
Yu-chan pressed her forehead against the window and closed her eyes. After a few minutes, she opened them.
しばらくは信じられないような心地だったんだ。現実を受け入れられないというか、嘘でしょみたいな。少しの間だけ目を離して視線を戻したら、次の瞬間にはもういなくなっていた。そんな感じで、それこそ
Oops.
そう、神隠しみたいな。ゆうくんが昔そうなったみたいな。少しの間だけ目を離して視線を戻したら、次の瞬間にはもういなくなっていた。そんな感じで。ゆうくんの時は戻ってきてくれたからほっと一安心だったけど、お母さんは違う。理不尽に消えてしまって、もうだからね。
Bro, I did it again.
確かに亡くなる前に少しでも言葉を交わせていれば違ったのかもとは思うんだけど、お母さんは違う。理不尽に消えてしまって、もう戻ってこなかった。
What? Excuse me, ma'am. Were you alone up there? I apologize for that. There's no way someone could just disappear from the cart. After that, the theme park closed and, waited for Yuta until she was escorted out. But in the end, Yuta never returned. Listen, now is not the time for jokes, Lucy, okay?
おや、息もそのように乱れてしまって。
Never mind.
もしかして夜道で痴漢にでもあった？なんと。そうじゃなくて、駅から走ってきたから。駅から？
Lucy asked with suspicion.
あのね。
In between harsh panic breaths, Yuna told them about what happened on the Ferris wheel.
それってユウタが子供の頃にあったという。あなた方は何て言っていたかしら？神隠し。そう、それ。その神隠しと状況は同じなのかしら？多分。それは妙ね。かつての神隠しではユウタは私たちと会っていた。でもよもや今さら別のちぎりがあったとも思えないし。これはみんなとも相談した方がいいかしらね。あ、呼んでこようか？そのうち来るわよ。
Just as she said, everyone congregated within a few minutes. It seemed that the princesses all shared a sixth sense that linked them. Yuna explained the situation again, and everyone was equally confused.
それは確かに変ですね。そもそも神隠しは一時期だけのことで、その後は絶えてなかった。そういうお話でしたよね、確か。それが今になって急に。どうしてかしら。謎です。そもそもどこに行ったんだろう。それって分かったりしない？
They all looked at one another.
私たちにしてもこちらからあちらの動向を知ることはできないんです。ちぎりが生きていればね。各自が自分の世界に戻ることで存在を確かめることもできたんだけど。そうですね。でも今は通じ合うものがないですから、結局わからないですね。結局のところ謎なのは、どうしてユウタが別の世界に行けるのかというその点です。それは私たちでもできないことですが。そうだったんだ。ユウタには何かしら不思議な力があった。それでは何の答えにもならないけど。でもこれまではずっとなかった。それが今になってまた発現したということは、何かのきっかけがある。 そういうことなのでしょうか。きっかけ、そういえば、ここ最近、私の亡くなったお母さんの話をしていて。
Yuna's eyes shot open. A truth obscured by the passing of countless years, had revealed itself to her.
あの時も、そうだったんだ。ある意味では。え？私のお母さん、事故で亡くなって、それから少しして、ゆうくんの神隠しが始まった。
Where am I? Huh? I was just riding the Ferris wheel with Yu-chan. I knew it. Is this a dream? I fell asleep on the Ferris wheel's strangely cozy cart. It seemed likely. I pinched my cheek to check hard. Ow. The painful stimulation was enough to make me jump, but I didn't awake from the dream. Huh?
君は
Nah, hang on. I vaguely recognized this woman. Who was she?
ゆうくんなの？
Nah. Bro. Yukun disappearing was monumental in itself, so she had never given thought to what happened immediately before or after.
誘拐は、この世に未練を残した人が一時身を寄せる世界だったわね。はい。巫女と同じ？誘拐は私たちにとっても縁遠い世界ですが、つながりがないわけでもないということは先日の騒動でもお分かりのことと思います。じゃあゆうくんは私の母さんを探そうとしていろんな世界を巡っていたんだ。
No, don't tell me. Come on, it's fine. Ah, no way. Here in the Ferris wheel. It's fine. Come on, everyone does it. Ah, come here. Come on, run on here. What the? Why did you shake? Yeah. Nah. You cannot be fucking serious. I was wondering if he'd get if I didn't say it, but I was like, if he gets spirited away, when he comes back, does he return to the same fucking place that he was spirited away from? The answer was yes, but I was going to transition that into a joke of him getting transported back to this world in between two Ferris wheels. And then he just fucking falls because he was spirited away high up in the fucking air. God damn it. Yeah, I guess. He met up with Yuna's mom. Okay. I was gonna hold off, but this is the best route. This is the best route, right? Because obviously, I do love the romance. I do love when they get into the plot of the route, right? It's the one thing I was complaining about in Karen's route. It's the one thing I praised in Yorihime's route, right? We didn't get that yet in Yuna's route. It was just very adorable. It was very cute, right? I forgave the route for that because Yuna and Yuta are the cutest couple. Like, objectively, there was no competition between the other girls. Maybe Lucy, I don't know yet, but we didn't get much plot until you started getting hints of it, right? You start getting hints of Yuna and her dad in regards to, Yuna's mom slash her dad's wife, right? Until it starts getting worse in, well, you saw that, right? Where Yuta finally confronted Yuna about the thing that was bothering him for some time now, right? It wasn't throughout the whole route. It wasn't like he was resting on his fucking laurels the entire route, right? It was only like a week in game, and I thought we would get an answer to why he was getting spirited away so much in Lucy's route, right? But I didn't expect it now, and I didn't expect it like that, right? To have one of the most important aspects of the game, right? Yuta meeting with the other girls, right? The most important aspect of this game happened because he wanted to find Yuna's mum so much, or I don't know. I don't know how to describe it, because it's not like, here's the thing, right? I thought I thought Yuna was saying that she got spirited away, but Yuta went to the spirit world right then, right? I think we're gonna get an explanation, a more in-depth explanation when he comes, when they meet up again, right? But her mom died, right? That's like obvious. They always said that her mom's died, right? It was getting a bit more metaphorical before Yuta got spirited away, right? But she died, right? They said she died, and it's not like they never hinted that she disappeared, right? They never said she spirited away, right? So yes, she died. But yeah, I can't. To have the most important aspect of the game happen because of Yuna, I mean, like, I was gonna wait until Lucy's route to declare which route would be the canon route, right? Especially since Lucy's on the fucking cover of the game, you'd expect her to be the canon route, but like, they never would have met if, well, I'm not going to say it's because of Yuna's mum. I'm going to say because of Yuna's grief. That doesn't sound any better. Whatever. He let's just, all I'm going to, all he caught those two in an awkward moment. Who are you? Where'd you come from? What about you? Where'd you come from? That's what I want to know. Yeah, good luck explaining this to the fucking staff. Where was Yu-chan? We were writing this together, but now there was a guy and a girl I had never seen before, and they were about to fuck. What the heck was going on here? That had happened to me before. Right. he forgot what happened. He forgot he got spirited away. I forgot about that part. I thought he was gonna tell Yuna what her mom told her in the spirit world, but no, I mean, I didn't forget that he forgets everything when he gets spirited away, but like I thought it'd make an exception, you know? He finally, he completed his goal, I guess. When I was spirited away, I disappeared with no sense of recollection. So for me, it just felt like I had jumped instantaneously through time. What day is it today? It's the 29th. It happened again. Yu-chan and I came here on the 28th. I was sure of that. In the blink of an eye, a whole day had passed. What? Pardon me, but were there three of you riding? No, this guy here, he just appeared out of nowhere. That's nonsense. I don't know what you're talking about. I've been here the entire time. What? Forget it. Let's go. This is getting weird. Yeah. What? The park employee stood there in frozen confusion, but I didn't bother even trying to explain. Yuka! They were waiting for him. Yu-chan, everyone.
Yuka! Yukata!
Oof. Yu-chan ran over to me, and I caught her in an embrace.
心配していたのよ、ユーナ。
Oh, sorry. Sorry I made you worry, Yu-chan. Listen, all I'm gonna say is, him being gone for a day is a lot better than when Luna left for however many weeks, or Karen was forced to go back to her place for a whole fucking year, or Yorihime was forced to go back to her world for a whole fucking year, or Julie was forced to go back to her world for a few weeks. All right, one day is nothing in comparison to what the other girls made him go through. All right, and never mind. Yu-chan shook her head while her face was still buried in my chest.
かつての神隠しの時、消えた場所に再び現れたとのお話でしたので、それでこうしてみんなで来たんです。
The only exception to that is Karen, because he didn't really get spirited away. He just went to the Araragi shrine. Thank you.
いずれ戻ってくることに間違いはないのでしょうけど、消えた場所がね。
As she spoke, Lucy looked up at the slowly rotating Ferris wheel.
さーてと、ゆうたも帰ってきたことだし、遊ぼう遊ぼう。
Okay. So, Yorihime somehow remembers that Yuta comes back to where he first disappears. But what in what way? Right? Because like, if it's in the way that I was joking about, of him reappearing in the exact position he disappeared from, right? That'd be fucking terrifying, especially because he was in a Ferris wheel. But if it was the exact same cart, right? He reappeared back in the exact same seat, in the exact same cart. First of all, what would happen to the person who was sitting in that exact spot when he reappears? Second of all, I hope that's the case, because of this instance specifically, where someone is fucking spirited away in a dangerous place, essentially. As safe as a Ferris wheel is, I don't think you want to end up outside of a Ferris wheel, especially at the top of it, right? Especially when it's in the fucking air. The cart you're in is in the air, right? or like a fucking plane or a helicopter or any moving vehicle in particular, specifically ones in the air. You know? So,
ダメなの？
let's just hope that when you get spirited away, it's not the exact position.
ダメとは言わないけど、先に事情を聞かないと。それでどうだったの？
I didn't have to answer for her. Have an answer for her. Honestly, I wouldn't have known a day had passed unless someone had told me. I was completely clueless. I shook my head quietly, but Lucy nodded understandably. See, I'm only specifying I'm only specifying the first option as him reappearing in the same space, right? Well, I was trying to justify specifically on Earth, right? Because obviously, after a whole day passed, all I'm gonna say is if he reappeared again in the exact same place he was spirited away from, he'd be in fucking space, right? So I'm trying to be lenient here with the first assumption.
私たちの時もそうだったわけだし、一応聞いてみたわけだけど。
Like, thinking about it, I grimaced and tilted my head, trying my best to remember. I feel like I met someone. I have a distant feeling. Everyone gasped simultaneously.
その相手が誰か思い出せませんか？
My head was still tilted, but I had nothing more to say.
私たちの予想では、それはきっとユーナのお母様なのよ。
Now the real question is, did he meet Yuna's mom when he was a kid? Right? Because the things Yuta's been saying after hearing Yuna's essentially after everything he hears about Yuna and what her dad is saying, right? He gets more fucking existential and is about to sympathize with them, I guess. but I'm just wondering if he's actually met her mom in the spirit world before, like when he got spirited away when he was younger. What?
あのね、ゆうべみんなで話し合ったんだけど。
So I was trying to find your mom, huh? I had never even considered that idea myself, but yeah, hearing you say that, it just might be true. At that time too, and now, your mom was on my mind, so...
でも、残念ですね。せっかく会いに行けたとしても、戻ってきた時には忘れてしまう。
Yeah, that rule's a bitch. Why don't you let me remember, world? Why don't you let me remember everything that happened in the spirit world? Specifically the spirit world, because in the instance of the other girls, they at least told him what happened, right? So he doesn't really need to remember then. I mean, I guess you kinda do, considering he made a fucking harem by creating a pact with other girls, because he forgot that he made a pact with other girls. Never mind. It really is, yeah. So you know what? Even then, at least let him remember everything that happens in the spirit world, because no one in the spirit world is coming back to Earth. Except for that one girl. Luna just said her name and I already forgot it. And it didn't mean much if I was the only one to see her. Her family deserved that privilege. All I could do was link them together, yet I couldn't even fulfill that. If only I could tell you what we talked about. If I did in fact see her, then she certainly would have said something to me. Her voice lay dormant in my head somewhere, but I couldn't retrieve it. The impotence was tormenting me. I wanted to just pick apart my brain and find it. Was the same thing tormenting him the last time they potentially saw each other? When he got spirited away the first time? We left the princesses behind, who said they wanted to stay and enjoy the park after coming all this way. I mean, like, there has to be a reason why he stopped, right? There has to be a reason why he stopped getting spirited away. Alright, if the reason why he was spirited away in the first place is to meet her mum, Yuna's mum, then the reason he stopped is because he met Yuna's mum, right? That's the logical conclusion, I guess. We left the princesses behind, who said they wanted to stay and enjoy the park after coming all this way, right? You see, Lucy hasn't stayed. Lucy hasn't had her turn in the park yet, you know. Yeah, all the other girls have, because he went on dates with all of them, except for Lucy, because we haven't done her route yet. We sat next to each other on the train. The train was crowded as usual, but Yu-chan didn't let that stop her from pressing against me. Yeah.
頭では分かっていたんだけどね。前の時と同じで、しばらくすれば戻ってくる。それが分かっていても、やっぱり心配で、不安で。
You ran all around looking for me when we were kids. My parents eventually got used to it and brushed it off. So in that sense, you're so nice for worrying.
でも、今回は消えた場所も場所だったから、本当にヒヤヒヤしちゃった。
Like before, listen, right? Before this, I thought the reason why he met with with all of those girls had something to do with his granddad, right? Because like there has to be, it can't just be a coincidence that Yuta, related to someone who owned a shit ton of land before he died, and then his dad inheriting that land so that the girls, when they eventually came to this world, could build a house on said land. What am I trying to say? I'm just saying that it can't be a coincidence, right? Surely there has to be something to it. And maybe I guess that might be explained in Lucy's route or whatever. Right. In that sense, being spirited away can be pretty hazardous.
だから、こんなことはこれっきりにしないと。
But...
けど
it's not like I can control it myself.
ああ、そっか。
It was a bit of a white lie on my part. I'd wielded a strange ability ever since I was born. If I could harness it, then I would do so. I thought that with all my heart. I could be a messenger between her and her mum. If only I didn't forget. Or maybe, if I met her mum many times, the memories would grow clearer, and I could eventually recall them. I was the one who just said it was hazardous, and yet here I was thinking this.
昔の時、神隠しが起こらないようになったのって。
Okay, Yuna's gonna confirm what I just said.
多分、私がまた明るくなったからだと思うんだよね。
You mean you managed to feign tearing up? You've never been cheery. You've never been you never actually cheered up. I nodded, but she certainly wasn't completely back to normal. And I think it's been good for her. She's a lot more cheery now.
ゆうくんが元気つけてくれたから。だから、立ち直ることができた。
Never mind. I thought the explanation would make a lot more sense, but no, it's a lot more cringy. Never mind.
それ、今も同じなんだよ。
It's cute that he stopped spiriting away because Yuna was happy again, quote unquote. But like, you know, my explanation makes more sense, and it links back to why it links back to why Yuta was feeling that way when Yuna was talking about her mom. Maybe that really is still the case, but Yuna reached the wrong conclusion. I don't know. Huh?
ゆうくんが私のことを愛してくれているから。
She finally took notice of the people around and whispered that part.
だから私は元気いっぱいなんだ。ふんふん。
You laughed at the end there. But I didn't think she was just doing that to not worry me. Yu-chan wasn't by any means a depressed or dark person. And it also wasn't the case that she had no closure whatsoever to her mum's death. So in the end, I may have just been clinging to a misguided assumption.
本当にね。
She looked into my eyes with convincing seriousness.
危ないことだけはしてほしくないの。ゆうくんに。
Yeah, I know. Perhaps I was blowing all of this out of proportion. If I didn't have the strange power, I would never have considered the idea of meeting with the dead. But for better or worse, I had a power, and I wanted to make use of it here. That urge was rekindled inside of me. Maybe don't do it while on a train. After that, I was pondering around the clock. Was it possible to bring the three of them together again, as a family? By my power. When I was eating, when I was working, I felt sorry for Yu-chan, but even when we were out on a date, I was fixated on only one thing. The only time I could really put it in the back burner was when we were making love. It was dangerous to travel back and forth between other worlds. I hadn't forgotten about that or anything, but simultaneously, I was optimistic and always convinced myself that I would be fine. I mean, I was never injured as a child, so I was probably born under a lucky star or something. Well, yeah, considering your grandpa owns a bunch of fucking land, you inherited the lucky gene. That was all the convincing I needed to take this on. Hence, I completely ignored Lucy's observant warning. I clung to Yu-chan all summer, but I figured it'd be nice to see my other friends at least once. Yo! Hey, wow. You've really got a tan going. I've been hitting all the handshake events. What? And to do that, I've been working. I virtually have no free time. It's too much like real life for me. Really? You're staying active. Kind of Bonando. You guys have slack, pale faces as usual. If my air screens were emitting ultraviolet rays, I might have a tan too. That's probably bad for your eyes. Yeah, really bad for your eyes. You're the one with the white face, though. Me? I do. You do. So white and clear. He said it the way girls compliment one another's complexions. Weird. Or rather, you look a bit unhealthy. Really? If you don't feel any different, then maybe it's just my imagination. I didn't feel anything, that was for sure. We started talking about something else, and the four of us headed off to the arcade. And then after about 10 minutes, I had completely forgotten about what Kendo had said. Maybe I visited the ghost world shortly after that. I didn't have even the slightest recollection of going, so I couldn't say for sure. But unlike at the theme park, it wasn't like I had vanished in front of Yu-chan or my family, which meant that there were no witnesses. Despite being immersed in my internal musings, the summer vacation ended without any eventful happenings. You sure about that? I got flashbanged. 9-2. It was the first day of the new semester. And maybe because it's been so long, my body feels so heavy. I reached out to the sky to stretch as I walked, but I couldn't quite ease up the stiff joints. Even my steps were heavy, and the others were getting further away with each passing moment. Just, go on ahead.
Huh?
She tilted her head in confusion, but obeyed and continued on. The group gradually became smaller in the distance. There were girls chatting up a storm, and yet I was the one that was going to be late. Something was wrong with me today. I do wonder how many times he's been to the spirit world since then.
ユウタはどうしたの？なんだろう。なんかのんびりしたいみたい。
I mean, it's the only way to explain his pale complexion and his sluggishness, right?
もともと妙齢の淑女ばかりの集団でございますからな。やひな男一匹混じっているのも奇妙ではあります。
Except that one of those young females is dating him. So, it doesn't make sense. It isn't peculiar, I mean.
それお前のこと？
True.
いえ、このドーラ目にヤヒという形容詞はいかがなものかと。
まあいいけど。それよりユウナ、例の神隠しのことはその後どうなったの？
私がやめてねって言ったからだと思うけど、あれからは何も。
そう。その方がいいでしょうね、きっと。
やっぱり危ないかな。
いえ、行き先が問題なのよね。
行き先？
誘拐なんて生きている者の行くべき場所ではないわ。
Yeah, every time he goes there, his fucking life energy is being sucked out of him. That's why he looks so pale and shit.
それで私からも一応忠告はしたのよ。だから良かったと思うわね。
あれ？まだ来ない。
He fucking collapsed.
そんなに離れちゃったのかな？
Hey, you there? Don't loiter around the gate. Don't loiter around the gate. Get inside.
はーい。
Oof. What the heck? I wiped. Why did my body feel like lead so early in the morning? Recently, since I was spirited away at the theme park, maybe I hadn't been getting much sleep. I wonder why. I just attributed it to being in such deep thought around the clock. Oh, damn it. I spurred myself on and forced my heavy body to run. Don't be late on the first day. I don't know what voice I'm trying to give him. I barely made it inside before the gate shut, as if I was sliding into home. Yu-chan and the others had already made their way to class. I left at the same time as I always had, but was somehow almost late. It wasn't just my imagination that my body felt heavy. It took almost twice as long to get to school compared to usual.
おはよう。やっと 起きた。
Morning.
あれ？
Her eyes widened in surprise when she saw me.
なんかウシ、顔色悪いね。
What? I don't? I tilted my head at the unexpected greeting.
目の下にクマがある。
I then recalled that my parents said the same thing. Something like, don't stay up late just because it's summer. All night just because it's summer. I thought I was sleeping normally though.
あ、言われてみれば本当だ。気がつかなかったの？彼女のくせに。
She was busy staring at that dick, you know, and then mine.
毎日顔を見ているからかな。暑いな。
I only see my parents about once a week, so they must have been more observant of the change.
本当だ。
She began disappeared into the hall, and Yu-chan was left looking deeply concerned.
ゆうくん、本当に顔色悪いよ。夜更かしでもしてる？
No, I'm not.
だんだんと、かな。それで言われるまで気がつかなかったけど。
Yu-chan reached out to touch my face, but then became conscious of people looking and stopped. Was that why my body felt so heavy? But no way. Our teacher finally came, so I took my seat. It's true that I've been having trouble sleeping lately, but it's not like I'm sleeping. It's not like I'm not sleeping at all. This is weird. You sure you aren't not sleeping?
なんか、本当に心配になっちゃうな。体調が悪いってことはないんだよね。
Right.
夜更かし？
That again, huh? I guess my face looked haggard.
もしかして、ユウタ、私の忠告を守っていないんじゃない？
He doesn't know. I went silent, and that was enough for Yu-chan's eyes to widen with shock.
そうだったの？
Everyone looked over at her sudden yelp.
ちょっと外に。
Yeah.
ゆうくん？私言ったのに。
Sorry. I shamefully hung my head. I wanted to do something no matter what. That feeling overwhelmed me and...
もう、ダメだよ、ゆうくん。
Once her anger had abated, she considered me with sympathy and concern.
この顔色の悪さ、きっとそのせいじゃないかな。ねえ。
多分ね。
I didn't physically feel a little different, but I couldn't deny how sluggish my body felt. When I went and hung out with my friends on the 10th, I didn't feel like this at all. Oh, right. Kendo was talking about the same thing that time though, which meant that I had been feeling bad since then. But did I go to the ghost world after that? I mean, I don't remember, so I can't know for sure. I hadn't disappeared since then, right?
いずれにしろ、その顔色が証拠なんじゃないかしらね。
Maybe.
寝ている時ということもありえます。
While I'm sleeping, I see.
ゆうたさんは一度、ヒヤッとする目に遭いました。それで無意識のうちに、安全な時間帯を選ぶようになったのではないでしょうか。
Everything about getting spirited away is subconscious. Of course it is. Hearing her say that made it sound like a likely explanation. There was nowhere safer than under my covers.
悪いのは顔色だけ？本当に体調は平気なの？
Listen, Yuna, all I'm gonna say is, you'd be the one to know. Never mind. I said I was fine just now, but actually my body felt super heavy.
そうにしていたのも、じゃあそういうこと？
He meant psychologically, alright? I thought they were talking about physical damage to him.
やっぱり明らかにおかしいじゃない。
Lucy declared with stern finality.
どこの世界に若い健康な男子が女子の足にも遅れるほど体を引きずるように歩くのよ。
True. Except in Julie's route, but, you know, there was an explanation there. I couldn't refute that.
決まりね。ユータは私の忠告を無視して誘拐へと赴いていた。ユーナだってやめてと言ったのでしょ？
I nodded.
本当になぜ続けたのよ。
Maybe you all haven't heard the full story. I made eye contact with Yu-chan, and she didn't seem opposed to telling them. After the accident, Yu-chan's mother never regained consciousness before she died. So that was just too cruel. And death came. Yuna had likened it to her being spirited away before. So I was thinking, if only there was some way her words could reach her.
やっぱり、優しいんですね、ユータさんは。
But afterwards, I developed an obsession of sorts.
こだわり？
The strange power that I had, I wanted to harness its power.
あら、私たちと出会えたじゃない。
I nodded and laughed emptily. Emptily, yeah. Emptily? I mean, that is a word. It just sounds weird. I knew she said that to placate me. Just the power to visit the other worlds was something that emerged from after Yu-chan's mom passed away. So that, I think, was its original purpose. I wanted to use it for that purpose. I know it sounds a bit idealistic on my part. It was an expectation I placed on myself.
ユータ氏は素にして嫌だが、しかし非ではなかったですな。お嬢様に感化されたか、貴族の精神をお持ちのようで。
Also because I can guarantee the reason why he was spirited away to meet all these girls is because he spirited away to those worlds at the exact moment that they needed him most. Right? Luna may be an exception to that, but considering, okay, here's the thing, right? It was the first fucking scene of the game, but I still remember it, right? Lucy was getting chased. Lucy was running from something, right? And we got to see that. Yorihime's shawl was in a tree, so she couldn't get it. Karen, well, she kind of she came to his world. Julie, I forgot about what Julie was going through. She went through a fucking existential crisis because she wasn't as perverted as her mom or whatever. But every time he was spirited away to see these girls, right? He got spirited away at the moment they needed help, essentially, right? What are you talking about?
ノブレス・オブリージュ。高貴さは義務を負うというものです。ある種の能力もまたしかりでございましょう。わはは、感心感心。
It's nothing that grand. I would have never even thought of this if it wasn't for the girls I loved. The girls I loved.
ゆうくんの気持ちは嬉しいよ。とても。でも私にとって何より大事なのはゆうくんなんだから。
I nodded, happy to hear her say that.
こんなことになっちゃって私。
Yu-chan graced my cheek with her finger, her own eyes welling up with tears.
実際 どんな影響があるのかしらね、誘拐は。
何しろ死者の住まう世界ですからね。聖者も徐々にその色に染まっていって、そこの住人にふさわしくなってしまう。
ということは、死？
Yorihime nodded stiffly with a stern look.
ゆうくん。
The tears in her eyes finally began to fall. I got it. I don't want to die. I'll forget about all this. No, he's built different. He'll be fine. I then wiped the tears streaming down her cheek. On the way home from school, Yu-chan was constantly looking at me.
忘れた？誘拐のこと、もう忘れた？
It's not like I could just wipe my brain clean.
笑い事じゃないよ。
Yeah, I know. My other 3 friends, who I hadn't seen in weeks, including Shibuyan, commented on my appearance. Obviously, Ikeda and Ando were surprised, but even the usually unfazed Kendo was perturbed. I must have looked horrible. But it's harder to forget something when you try to, even though I always forget what happened over there. You don't want to know. I'm sure you want to hear her voice, her thoughts.
それは、知ることができるなら、知りたいけど。
Listen, all I'm gonna say is, the only reason he's going over there so much is because he forgets about it, right? If he was able to provide Yuna closure, he'd forget about going to the fucking ghost world. So, you know, the rule of having to forget everything that happened in the ghost world is backfiring immensely. Alright, oh, well, getting spirited away after you get spirited away.
でも、約束だよ。ゆうくんはもう忘れるんだから。
Yeah, I know. After work ended, I examined my face closely in the mirror. My complexion and eyes indeed looked bad. I was like a dried out husk. You also adapt to anything, I guess. You can adapt to anything, I guess. I didn't notice at all myself, and Shirahase didn't say anything either. I need to snap out of this. If I died, all would be lost, and I would just make Yu-chan more miserable than ever. It was time for sleep. I kept telling myself to forget, and while counting sheep, I eventually dozed off. And then in brackets, he did not forget.